Hey, good morning, everyone. So what do I have now? I have a Cadillac CTS, and it's got the 2-liter 4-cylinder. To me, that's kind of a big vehicle to have a 2-liter in it. But customer's complaint is the AC turns on and off, meaning that like when they're driving, it could be fine for the longest time. All of a sudden, it'll shut off and it won't turn back on. And then they'll drive for a whole day. It'll be working absolutely fine. Drive another day, it won't work at all. So he said the check engine light will come on every once in a while. So I scanned it for codes, and I actually scanned it for code 4 months ago. I don't remember what the code was, but the code was for the coolant temp sensor, like not like a thermostat rationality code. I don't remember exactly what the code was, but basically it was that the coolant temp sensor wasn't correct. So here's the vehicle. This one right here. And it actually don't run bad, but like I said, it seems to me like it's an awfully small motor for this size car. This is a full-size car. I mean, this is a decent size. So I got the coolant temp sensor. Hold on. And here it is. This is what it looks like. So basically, it's going to slide into something with an O-ring and then have a clip holding it in place. So where in hell is it located on this car? Well, here's your motor. They tuck it all the way back here. Let's see if we can get on this. And there it is right there. You see it? That's where they stick it. And you can actually see the clip holding it in place. So now, here's the problem. I got to try to figure out how to get back there. I'm not a little guy. I'm a big guy. So what I wound up doing already was I took the cradle bolts loose, at least all of them at first. Realized I didn't have enough room because this thing's stuffed up into the cowl. So then I wound up taking the driver's side bolts completely out. Let the thing hang down as far as it will go. Still got the suspension and everything else holding it in place. Plus you got a transmission crossmember, and I do have the bolts on the other side, so I wasn't too concerned about it causing any damage. So now I can actually get my hand back there. So now I get to try to figure out how I can do this and get that thing out. I'm sure I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to get coolant all over the floor and everything else. But it is what it is. I got to fix it. So let's get going. There we go. I got the clip out. That was a joy. I used a small screwdriver and I was able to pull it away from where it went, and then I used a pair of small needle nose. I was able to grab the edge of it and pull it out. That's going to be a joy putting back in, because I definitely don't want to drop that, because if I drop it and I can't find it, then I got a real problem. So let's keep going. I may wind up putting a piece of tape on it to have like a tether this way, just in case I drop it, I don't lose it. So let's keep going. Let's see if I can't get that thing out. Well, I got it out. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? I mean, that's incredible. That just is absolutely destroyed. It disintegrated on itself. Look at all the corrosion. How in the world is a computer going to read right? With that corrosion going across, that's bridging a gap. It's going to really skew the readings. Bad. And look at the inside there, how corroded that is. I'm going to have to clean the connector if I can. I don't know if I can get a repair or replacement connector. Yeah, see how corroded that thing is on the inside? It just adds aggravation to the whole thing. Alright, I'm going to have to see if I can find something that I can use. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know if we have anything in our lot that I can use for parts. Let me call and see if anything's available from the parts store. Alright, let me keep going. So I'm trying to find this connector, and I looked through vehicles that we had here thinking might have something. We didn't have a 16 Equinox that I thought I might have a connector in, because we saved the harnesses and everything else. No, nothing was the same. So I figured, okay, if it comes down to it, I'm going to have to repin it. So I found connectors with similar pins in them, and I cut the connectors off the harness, and this way I had it in case I had to repin that connector. So I called Advanced. They told me dealer only. Okay. I called AutoZone. They told me dealer only. Okay. I called Napa. Napa's usually pretty good with this. They told me dealer only. Okay. So my final thing was, let me call O'Reilly's. I called O'Reilly's and they said, yeah, we got it in stock. Really? I was kind of surprised. So I've dealt with them many times, and they're usually pretty good. So the girl sends me a picture of what she has, and I'm like, dang it, that doesn't look correct. So I go down there, And sure enough, I take the new sensor with me, and sure enough, it's correct. So I'm like, okay, great. So I got that, and I got new rear brake pads for this thing too. So now what I have to do is I have to wire this in. And let me show you real quick. Here's a new connector. And you can see it's a little bit of an odd shaped connector, especially on the side there where my thumb is, because that side, that actually fits. If you look inside there, see those two notches on that side, internal there? That's how that fits into that. So now I got to wire this in place, and I still cannot get over how rotted away that old sensor is. So now if you remember my other videos, same type of repair. I'm going to strip them down. I'm going to put my little crimps on there, heat shrink it, and go from there. Now, when you're dealing with a 2-wire sensor like this, technically they are a thermistor. Their resistance varies greatly on temperature, and that's how the computer reads what the temperature is. It's got set values in the computer, and it knows, you know, hey, if the resistance is this number, then the temperature is this number, and it just changes accordingly. And it's however it's programmed into the computer itself. Whenever you have something like this, it doesn't matter which side the wires go to. If it's a 2-wire, it never matters. A 3-wire, yes, it absolutely matters. 2-wire doesn't matter because you have an in and out. It's just like a light bulb on a car. One side's going to be ground, one side's going to be power. Same type of deal, except this doesn't use power and ground. Usually it uses a 5-volt reference and then some kind of a varying ground or something along those lines. So now, like I said, I'm going to wire this in place, and then the fun comes in of trying to get that sensor back in the spot. I can't even see where it goes. I can do it kind of by feel. It's such a tight area. It's ridiculous. So I don't know why they had to stuff this, the important stuff in the back of a motor up against a firewall like this. It just makes no sense. This is like BMW logic. This is what BMW would do. Or Audi, another company I can't stand. But anyway, let me get going with this, and we'll see how we make out. All right, so I got the ends, the terminal ends that I was going to, or the butt connectors rather, that I was going to use to switch this thing over and wire this into the rest of it. Now, if you look, I put the heat shrink here. The reason I did this is because I'm in such a tight spot behind the motor that when I turn this thing upside down and try to connect these ends to the other wire, the open wire, I don't want the heat shrink to fall off. So doing it this way will allow me to keep the heat shrink in place. They're not going to fall off. And now I can get this onto that wire. Because like I said, it's a super tight area. So I'm going to have to get in there, do that, and then I can crimp them in place. Then I can pull the connector up and straight and then get the heat shrink down over these areas. So there we go. I got that all connected back there. You see that? And now, focus in on that. Like I said, it's a tight area for me to try to get back there and do this. That's why I did what I did. So now I can move the heat shrink down in place, and I can heat shrink that to where it needs to be. All right, I got the sensor in place. What a nightmare that was. Let's see if you can see it. Here, you can actually see it sticking up there. Now, it's actually you can feel it insert, and you can feel the O-ring go past. And I globbed it up with transmission assembly lube. So now I got to go and get that clip in place, which that's going to be fun. And like I said, I'm going to probably put tape on it to tether it. Let me just see something here. So now here's the old sensor. And like I said, I globbed it up with silicone because this has to pass a ridge inside. And you can feel it as it's inserting. You feel it like you're on the ridge. All of a sudden you feel it go, and it slides in, and it goes in nice. And that's how you know it's seated. So now, this clip, that's going to be the next nightmare, getting that in place. So let's, like I said, I'm going to tether this with a piece of tape and see how that works. All right, so there's the clip. And what I did was I used a piece of painter's tape, and I basically wrapped it around that. What I did was I actually cut the bottom in the shape of like a T almost. And this way, the thinner portion I looped around and then taped it back to itself on there. And then I folded the tape over each side. And this way I have this nice long tether. So God forbid I drop this stupid thing in the process of trying to put it in, I can at least pull it back up with this, or at least I can be able to find it much easier. So that's the reason for me doing this. I tell you what, if you lose something like this, that can absolutely ruin your day. Whew, I got it in place. That was not fun. Let's see if I can see this here. It's right there. See that? And you can still see the tape piece, but getting that clip in, what a nightmare getting that thing in place. That was not fun. So now I can actually, nice thing about having that tape is I can just pull up on it and it'll rip right off. So what if it leaves a little residue down there? Doesn't matter. And then I can hook the connector back up and start putting everything back together. But man, that was just, that's such a dumb design. And amazingly enough, I didn't lose any coolant. I lost no coolant. I guess it like holds it in a vacuum as long as it's not hot and under pressure. There's no way I would do this job if it was hot, that's for sure. So, all right. So let me start reversing procedure to install. All right, so there's the pieces that I took from underneath. And if you look, I got the cradle bolt still in place there. Basically everything on the passenger side is still in place except this one bolt. You got to take this out completely. So I got that out. On this side, basically I got the cradle dropped down as far as I could and still leaving the steering shaft and everything else connected. This way I can make room, but the bolts are out here. So now I got to put everything back together, put it back in place, and then I got to get that bracing in place and those shields in place. So other than that, I mean, really not, it's a lot of work to do. It's not bad to do, it's just a lot of work to do. And it's in a tight spot too. So anyway, I got my pole jack. I'm going to jack the cradle back up so I can catch the bolts in place, and we're going to go from there. So that's it. I'm pretty much done with this Cadillac now. I just took it for a road test. Everything seems good. The code that was in it was a PO 116, I think. I don't recall. I just cleared the codes out. But it was not for temperature rationality, which would usually come up as a thermostat. It was for the sensor, something or other. And then as you saw, when I took the sensor out, it was falling apart. So that's pretty much it. And as you can see, right now, I could never get my hands back there. So it's amazing how high it raised up since I tightened that cradle back up. But took it for a ride. Everything seems good. AC never cuts off. It seems really good. And I took it for a good 20-minute road test. So that's pretty much it for now. Get anything out of my videos, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. That's it. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.